Guys, in this video, we are going over 5 weird things that block the law of attraction. So make sure you stop doing these things if you're doing them. That's coming up next. Hi guys, welcome to HeartSpace. My name is Dave, and we release videos every single day on this channel to help you live life more in your way. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss any videos for us. I thought we'd do this one outside. It's a beautiful background behind me. It's a little bit exposed. You can hear the birds kind of fighting in the background, so that's always nice. But I want to go over 5 weird things or things that you might be doing that are blocking the law of attraction. You know, when it comes to many of these universal principles, a lot of times it's not about adding certain things. It's about removing certain things, getting out of your own way, releasing some of the blocks that are preventing what naturally is trying to come in. And so we're going to be talking about that. I want you to let me know which ones resonate with you as we go through this. Before we start, make sure you put in the comments, I commit to aligning myself with the energy that allows good things to come into my life. And the reason I want you to put this affirmation down there below is because this helps to rewire your brain, and this helps you to start identifying yourself in a different way, aligning with this energy, and actually start to take some action towards what we're talking about here instead of just passively watching this video. So put that down below, and we'll start by getting into, in reverse order, by starting with number 5. So number 5, we're starting with a very important one, and this is really one that if you can just understand this and actually implement this, a lot of everything else is going to start taking care of itself. But one of the biggest things that blocks the law of attraction working for you, or these universal principles, is a lack of alignment. And when I say alignment, I mean your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your energy. A lot of times many people don't manifest, they don't allow the law of attraction to work for them because their mind and heart are misaligned. And if these are not in alignment, if these are not working together in the way they were intended to, you are going to prevent the things you want from coming into your life. It's just going to be the case. If you are trying to go in one direction with your mind, but your heart is telling you to go in a completely different direction, you're going to really just stay in place or get nowhere. An analogy that I've been using very recently that I really like is, think of it like you have 2 different islands. And the one island is the island that your heart is trying to draw you towards. But your mind has another island that it wants you to move towards. And you have one ship. You can't at the same time go towards both. So if you're going towards this island, but then your mind distracts you, you have to turn around and go towards that. And then you're going back towards that one and then back towards that one. And you can kind of see you're just staying in place. But if you can get your mind and heart to align, and suddenly it's just one place that you're going towards, now there's no distractions, you have your true north, and you can keep making sure you're going in that direction. That's what happens when alignment occurs. You will be able to move towards that singular focus of what your heart is telling you it wants you to move towards, and then you have the ability to allow your mind to also focus on that thing, getting your mind in alignment with that. That's when magic starts to happen. So when you're in alignment, things will start to happen in a very natural way. That's when you allow the very natural law of attraction, the universal laws, to just work in your life without your resistance, without you getting in your own way. And another thing I'm going to throw in there is what you also want aligned, I mentioned it earlier, are your words, thoughts, actions, and the energy you bring, all of it. Because if you're acting in a certain way and speaking in a certain way, but your thoughts are something completely different, that's a lack of alignment. But if your thoughts, words, and actions all line up, that's when the magic happens. That's when you now have all this power moving towards the things that you want. Number 4 is one my mentor tells us all the time that most people are doing. And I love this term because it really does paint a really vivid picture of really the afflictions so many people have. And it's the idea of sleeping awake. And this is how so many people live their lives. They are sleeping awake. They're on autopilot. They don't really have any direction. They don't have any islands. You know, we were talking about the 2 islands, your mind trying to go toward one, your heart going towards another. You can only focus on one. Some people have nothing and they're just drifting at sea aimlessly. They don't have a purpose. They don't have a direction. They've never even thought of what that would be for them. They never felt, what does my heart actually want? And they're sleeping awake. Sure, they look awake, but they're really sleepwalking through life. They're being hooked into everybody else's agenda except their own. They are being distracted by every single little thing that crosses their path, whether that be entertainment, whether that be things online, whether that be other people's agendas, you know, like their boss or the media or advertisements or whatever else it is. abundance. And nothing will block the law of attraction more from working in your life as a force of good than being distracted by everything else around you or sleeping awake. You know, with the law of attraction, it requires you to be the co-creator of whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life, which means you need to have intention. And you do not get intention without attention towards your life. And when you're not paying attention, it's very hard to bring in intention. But if you move into each moment, everything you do with an intention, you bring your energy suddenly to every situation that you're now in. You're now present. You can't bring your intention into situations without being present and rooted in the moment. But when you start doing that, you're now actually awake. You're not sleeping awake. You have a direction. You have a purpose. You have a reason for why you're doing the things you're doing. You're suddenly aware now and listening to what your heart is telling you, to what the universe is telling you, to what is actually starting to come in. You're starting to recognize the signs that we go over on this channel all the time. But if you're sleeping awake, nothing will block the law of attraction from working in your life more than remaining in that sleepwalking type state. Now, number 3, I actually did mention in that last one, but it's so important that it deserves to be reiterated and explored in a little more depth. And that is being distracted. You know, in this day and age, there are so many distractions, whether you have the media, whether you have social media, my God, what a distraction that can be, whether you have people who do not have your best interests at heart. You know, there's so many different distractions just constantly surrounding us in our external environment. And one thing that's going to block you from the law of attraction or block it from working in your life in a way that serves you are distractions. Because again, everything is energy, and the law of attraction, the universal principles work on the level of energy. But if you're suddenly getting sucked into all of these energetic agendas from every which direction, you are not building up enough momentum on a certain frequency in a certain energy to attract things that you want. So for example, you could say, I want to be abundant. I want to attract more abundance into my life. But then if you're watching news stories that say, abundance isn't real and everyone's in poverty, or you're listening to someone like a friend or your parents constantly say like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to struggle to make money, the rich people are, they're not like us, whatever it is, you are then picking up on that energy. And the more you're surrounded by that energy, the more your subconscious picks it up. And guess what? You can consciously resist as much as you like, but your subconscious is 100 times more powerful than your conscious. You're still going to pick up that energy that's being resonated from these people, from the news, from whatever else it is, and you're going to start really absorbing that to the point where your beliefs might start to be shaped from that energy. And so removing distractions from your environment is of utmost importance. That bird agrees with me. It's saying remove distractions, right? That's a much welcome distraction. Nature is always a very welcome distraction, in my life at least. But the point is you want to set up your environment to be as distraction-free from your purpose, from whatever it is you actually want as possible. And you do that by, again, a simple one is stop watching things like the news. Stop watching negative media. Stop browsing on social media platforms. And there's nothing wrong with being on these platforms, but be very disciplined on them. For example, my subscriptions, when I go on there, doesn't allow for any of this negative media. It's all uplifting, inspirational type content. So make sure you're setting up your environment in that way so that you're not encouraging these negative energies into your life, because again, that is going to, that ship analogy we had, you could have negative, positive momentum. Whenever you get distracted by negative, you're suddenly turning the ship and you're going in that direction, and you have to reorient yourself all over again and turn back towards the positive. But if you remove those distractions from your environment, you're going to be doing that less and less and continue just on that pathway towards whatever it is that you actually want. Okay, number 2, guys, is another huge one, and I just call this exercising the wrong paradigm. And it's not necessarily wrong because we're not going to get into right and wrong here. That's very subjective. But let me phrase it in a different way. Exercising a paradigm that does not serve you. And again, this is what most people who are sleeping awake are doing. They're exercising a paradigm. And remember, reality is really created through your beliefs, through your perspective. There are people living completely different realities out there. Some living a reality reality of abundance and wealth and giving and contribution, where other people are living in a reality of poverty and why always me? And I'm a victim and I have to get my own and I have to survive and it doesn't matter how I do that, whatever it is. It really comes down to the perspective, the paradigm you choose to live in. And the paradigm that most people choose to live in is one that goes a little like this. You have to do certain things to have certain things in order to be something. It's called the do, have, be paradigm. It might be the have, do, be paradigm, but the important thing is it has the be at the very end. And so essentially it's things like I have to do the thing called go to school to get the thing, have the thing called a diploma, which will make me be a thing called success. But for any of you who have gone through school, gotten a college degree, I think you understand that that does not make you successful at all. It's what society tells you need to do, but it doesn't actually make you successful. And so this is exercising the wrong paradigm, thinking you have to do and have certain things in order to be a certain thing. And I can tell you right now, there are people who are wealthy, feel so abundant, live fulfilling lives, who have very little, versus people who have it all that feel like they're empty. And it doesn't mean you can't feel wealthy and also have like everything you want if that's what you intend, because you can. But the important thing is to switch this paradigm to the be, do, have paradigm. And the way this paradigm works is you be whatever it is you want to be now. You know, you have the power to tap into whatever energy you want to tap into in this very moment. And when we consider there is only ever now, there is no past, there is no future. So you trying to use the past to say you're not something now is ridiculous, or to project that out into the future like, oh, I'll eventually be this thing, is also ridiculous because there is no future. But if you root yourself in the now and connect to the energy of whatever it is you want, feel that now, you will start acting, follow me here, you will start acting, doing things from that energy. And what has to happen naturally if you're doing things from a certain energy, so let's say an energy of abundance, you have to eventually, after the lag time of things coming into the physical, after that bridge is gapped, you have to eventually receive whatever the physical things are of that frequency. So I be and just feel wealthy now, which is going to inspire me to certain actions, to do certain things, which is going to bring about certain results. Are you following me here? And so if you can switch your paradigm from the I have to be something, I have to do something, or I have to do something or have something to be something, to I am already it. And then I'm going to act from that place, which is going to give me and help me receive the things that that person would automatically naturally receive. If you can switch that up to that, you will change your life. And so just remember the be, do, have paradigm and the power of that. Choose to be it right now, because you have the choice to do so. You have the choice to energetically align with whatever. You can look at so many successful people, and I mean success in the level of, yeah, they can have a lot of money, they can have a lot of fame, whatever it is, but they're actually fulfilled. If you look at them, and you see what their belief systems were when they for so-called didn't have the things they have now, or weren't successful by society standards, you'll see that they didn't think that way. They saw themselves as there already. They saw themselves as wealthy already. They saw themselves up in lights, whatever it was, living their dream life already. And they actually genuinely felt that. And then by law of attraction, the things that were the equivalent of that had to come in. And number one, guys, is holding on to things that are energetically heavy in your life. Now, remember in the beginning of the video, I mentioned how a lot of this works in not bringing more into your life, but a lot of times in removing the clutter, in removing certain belief systems and patterns and things that are holding you back. And this is what we're talking about in number one. And again, one of the most important things that you can do. A lot of people hoard things, not just in a physical way. I know people in my life, for example, who hoard things, and everything you hoard has an energy to it, and if it's not an energy that's uplifting and inspiring and feels good to you, it's something that you shouldn't be holding on to in my eyes. But it's not just hoarding of physical things. You can hoard emotions. You can hoard certain thoughts and belief systems that no longer serve you. But by hoarding these things, it brings your energy down. Remember how we mentioned the two islands? We keep coming back to this. If you're hoarding certain things, you're automatically creating this other island that your ship is going to continually be drawn back to when you're trying to follow your heart. I realized this recently when I decided I'm going to be letting go of something in my life, a big thing, most people would consider a relatively big thing, but it's an energetic anchor for me. It's an energetic like 5, 6, or 7, which is holding me back from my energetic 10s. It's making it so I spend less time in the things that feel energetically good, and I know that I have to start phasing it out of my life, or I'll always be drawn back to it while I'm trying to go to this thing here. And I know that you can only focus on one thing at a time, so while I'm focusing on this energetic anchor, it's taking me away from the focus over here that I actually in my heart want to be focusing on. So look in your life, start to audit your life. What are some things you're holding on to, either physically or non-physically, that are energetically weighing you down? You know, it's amazing. A lot of people have the experience of when they actually remove certain things from their life, that it actually feels like a weight is lifted off their shoulders energetically. It actually feels like they feel lighter. And it's very true, because you do hold energy in your body. When you're holding on to certain emotions and you can't forgive and move on, when you are holding on to even certain physical things that you're stressing about all the time, that also gets held in your body. And that energetic, again, pool is going to not put you in alignment. It's going to knock you out of alignment. And it's, again, going to prevent you from being in your heart. And the more you can be in your heart, the more the law of attraction will work in the way or in a positive way for you. It's more these universal laws will work in a way that will be positive for you. Because, again, guys, the universal laws are always working. You're always getting what you're putting out. But if you want them to work in the way that you want them to work for you, in a way that's positive for you, in a way that is uplifting, inspiring, you know, coming from a place of love, allowing your life to be filled with love and beauty and whatever it is you want, you know, you have to be in alignment. You have to understand that holding on to things that are not in your heart are going to weigh you down. And so this final one that's going to block the law of attraction, again, is holding on to these things that feel energetically yucky, you can say. They're energetically heavy. And just start going through your life, auditing these things and going, is this something I really need in my life? And if not, just let it go. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. This was a long one, so what I want to do is a little experiment. If you made it to the end here, I want you to put in the comments, I made it. And that just lets me know that you actually watched all the way to the end, and I just want to applaud you, because a lot of people come to these videos, 30 seconds they leave because they don't want to commit to actually investing their time and energy into something that's going to help them. Those are the sleeping awake people. But by making it to the end, and hopefully you'll now apply these things, it really does show that you are invested into growth, into evolving, into actually learning these things that are going to help you. So put that in the comments below. I just want to see, I would love to see, you know, those of you who have made it this far. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Again, like I said earlier in the video, don't just watch this passively. Actually apply these things. Actually see where this relates to you in areas of your life, and actually start to implement these things, and that's where the change will occur. As always, I love you. Good luck to everything you're doing, and I'll see you in the next video.